crushing what's going on in general technology. I think it's like IoT and then just detours into nerdland. We'll be talking about vacuum labs, ambient sensor setups, Netmore, actility, vibe coding birds. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe we start, Joey, with what's the big news in LoRaWAN this week, buddy?
Let's see. I guess the
This
one that
Netmore
I saw
business.
make the waves is yeah, Netmore has been on this spree of acquiring a bunch of these IoT companies and just picked up a really big one with Actility. So um, if folks have been following the LP WAN space, you've probably heard either Netmore's name or Actility's name at some point in there. Um, and so for the Actility team to be joining Netmore is a pretty interesting consolidation of brain power for the LoRaWAN space. Actility, of course, is where Alper Yegin used to work. He was the CTO there. Getting that mixed up.
Some big muckety muck, yeah.
Yeah, but he's the CEO of the LoRa Alliance now. He's left Actility, but just to give a little bit of a sense of the brain power that was going on there and driving that protocol forward. And then Netmore previously bought Senate and some of these others, and so if you go and look at the LoRaWAN technical documents, you'll basically just see all these names, and all those folks work at Netmore now. It's not all, but it's pretty exciting to see, and I think it's a really strong signal of they are building value in the space, and so they've touched everything from metering. It's sort of Netmore's core business, but yeah, Actility had all these solutions around asset tracking and safety systems for miners and all sorts of cool things like that. So I'll be excited to see how that shakes out.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff. I was talking to a LoRaWAN friend of mine who I believe asked not to be named. So none of this is like my idea. But they were telling me this means something huge for this DLMS business because Actility had, I think the line is Actility had it integrated really well, and Netmore never wanted to go into it because Actility more or less owned it. That's not quite right, and that's me making the mistake. But with the purchase of Actility, now they can go into it deep and get after it. So
yeah. It'd be interesting to see.
I thought that was a.
So I'll be curious to chat. I've got a couple contacts at both companies, so it'd be interesting to catch up with folks and kind of hear the deets.
Let's see what they're doing. Let's see. You built a time series hotspot map.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this thing. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, well, I think previously we talked about, so this is mobile network related, so shifting gears from all our IoT stuff here. But we've been doing this sort of ramp up for an activation in DC. And so I figured it'd be a cool thing just to see like what is the impact that we get out of that. So I went and threw together this map just using the public APIs that we have for Helium. And so this is showing mobile hotspots over time. So if you hit that play button, oh yeah, that's better.
Is that a little bigger for you?
Yeah, that looks good. Basically, you'll just start seeing these little things pop in there, which is fun to see.
Okay, so the gray is where it will eventually be, and then the color is as it comes online?
Gray is where they've been. So you start to see the map sort of saturate with gray. And then, yeah, when it's green, it's new. When it's blue, it's about 30 days old. And then it just sort of,
and are
settles
they
in there.
Turning on and off? Like, are these gateways or these are phones?
These are gateways.
Gateways,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is activation of sites, basically, tracking over time. I didn't go as far as to track like deactivation and things like that. I was just really interested to see like what is the deployment velocity.
Okay. And then once it's gray, that means it's up there and it's providing coverage, or that just means it was there at one point, but we don't know if it's still there.
It's still there, but it may or may not be active. So some of these are going to be CBRS sites. If you sort of look at that timeline,
don't you say that word, Joey?
Yeah. This is of course I built this as an internal view just to sort of
this is cool.
We're going to be doing some stuff in DC, so I wanted to start tracking this. So this is up there. It updates every day, once a day,
Okay.
and yeah, as we start doing more stuff in DC, I'll be curious to see, especially in that sort of core DC area, what sort of movement we can make there.
Right on. Okay.
But I
And
thought it was fun.
the date's
Yeah.
up here. And of course, you did this on Val.
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
so yeah, this is I got to give the man, I'm not wearing my Valtown hat. Is it here? No, 1, 2, nope. Got the helium apple, and yeah.
Care the one. You got a Medio Scientific hat in there somewhere.
Yeah, I've got a good stack. I should just bring everything down here because I got some good hat collection. And I need it these days. I haven't cut my hair in a while. Yeah, so Valtown, we've talked about deploying stuff on Cloudflare, deploying stuff on Valtown. This was a perfect little project for it. And as I was shipping this project, they actually just integrated Terso as a database provider.
Mm-hmm.
So what used to be a little bit of an opaque experience around managing a database now has this really nice, basically just imagine a CSV, Excel experience on your data. So that is just a whole world of difference, makes it easier. And again, this is using LLMs as tooling. So this is just
Amazing.
a little bit of description, let the thing go burr, and then tweak some things, and it was good to go.
Yeah. And the magic happens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's do your vibe code. Vibe code a bird.
Yeah.
All
This
right.
reminds me of,
Stick coiling
I know I
command.
just threw a bunch of bullets at you this morning, but this reminds me of the you wouldn't download a car thing. So let's see,
Here it
not
is.
this
Okay.
last Monday, but the Monday before, it was Martin Luther King Day.
Yep.
We had the day off. A friend of mine and I went out to a grocery store and just picked up a bunch of random eggs to see if we could incubate and raise them as animals. And so I bought 3 packs of quail eggs, and I regrettably just mixed them all together. But they are all sitting in a cooler to my right here. And I put a rack, let's see, it's the 7204. I think I showed this last time, but this little guy.
Uh-huh.
Threw one of those in there, and then I had a nano tag, which of course is a temperature sensor also.
Okay.
So hucked that in there also. Pushed everything again into Valtown, ended up being a good platform for this stuff. And I've just been running under heat these birds, and they're actually incubating, and I can put them on an LED light and see little embryo in there.
What are you going to do with these birds? Just let them rip in the Bay Area?
Just let them free. I'm actively building a chicken coop. It's accelerated my timeline drastically because we just kind of threw ourselves into this thing. But
significant difference between the temperature readings on the nano things in the rack. 90.87 versus 97.86. So 7-degree difference.
So those spikes like that are when I open the incubator to turn the eggs.
Yep.
And then you'll see they sort of do converge over time. And I think
see,
that some of this is calibration. Some of it is just placement of the sensor within the chamber. So there's a little fan in there circulating the air, but it's just a heater element and a thermostat switch. So
very cool.
But again, to take it back to the LLM thing, I knew nothing about this when I started.
Right.
And so literally my prompt to the LLM was like, a friend and I decided to try and incubate some chicken eggs. I have temperature sensors, build a dashboard so I can feed that data into it and make sure that I'm doing the right steps as these things incubate.
Execute the thinking for me, LLM.
Totally. And so all of these daily tasks, all the milestones, all this display, it sorted that out for me, and I found it to be quite accurate. It did all the research on what the stage of the embryo development should be, what I should be doing. This lockdown event and all that kind of stuff is backed up by everything else that I've read. So it's kind of incredible how much I found myself going back to this. And I think this goes to this trend that I'm seeing as people are discussing LLMs and the impact on software. Is just going to start seeing more of these micro apps, and it's just going to be stuff that's built just for me.
Yep.
And I'm whatever. It's there's no worries about security, any of that kind of stuff that people sort of bemoan with LLMs. Like, I just need something that takes the data and gives me like a clear, clear, actionable, understandable result.
Badass. Are you seeing these notes, D. Vasilino?
No,
Like, I
let me
don't know
look.
if he's joking. Can you see this or no? Should I read it for you?
No, I'm just seeing you. Something.
Okay, so I have an odd question for Joey. Does he have an alter ego in the crypto space? There's a guy out there who sounds just like him. I'm just curious. I mean,
Yeah,
Joey's
I think
in the
so.
crypto space, or is there someone you know about? Do you have a digital semi-twin?
Oh, I don't know. Although I do get people telling me all the time that I look just like somebody that know. So that could be the case. But yeah.
Cisco cat in the house. Let's see. I've got to.
Well, actually, what we glazed over is this quail thing is running on helium, right? So if I need to bring it back to crypto, like if that's what we're looking for, that's the piece there.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, so D. Vasilino, he says it's not a joke. No, it's like, who is this person? Because I'm guessing it's just Joey, and Joey is in crypto because Helium is a crypto project. But I could be wrong.
Know. If there's an imposter out there, I'll fight them.
Whoa.
You gotta can be only one, right?
Let's see. So we got 619 stirring up trouble. How many people have unsubscribed from Helium Mobile in the past few days? I didn't for any of my 3 lines or 4 lines. So my wife has one, I have one, Paleo Treats has one, and then I have a random one that I am considering stopping just because I don't use it. Nothing to do with Helium Mobile. I don't know if you pay attention or you can share, but do you know anything about that, Joey?
I don't know a lot of details, but I think what I've seen is the folks that have unsubscribed, like, were never really using it in the first place. It was like, oh, I'll sign up for a free plan and like put it on my phone, but they weren't relying on it. They weren't like, their number wasn't ported in. Like,
okay, cool.
So the folks that were finding value in it are still finding value in it, despite, having to change taxes or whatever.
It was a pain in the butt for me because I had to like redo all of my, I guess, KYC stuff. I had to put my driver's license in again, and I had to give him birthday and all the rest of it. So
yeah, I think that's the part that I saw that wasn't really that smooth. Is like, there were people that were like, yeah, sure, I'll pay the taxes or I'll change the plan or whatever. But there were some hiccups in the flow. I know the team has been chasing those. It's about, they're busy when you don't hear from them all that much. It's because
support was pretty good. So I found that. Oh, there's this dude. He's not an imposter. He goes by Bird Kolb. So I guess you're fighting Bird Kolb, Joey.
Wait, how do you?
Wait. So on Riverside, you should be able to see the public chat.
I don't see anything.
On the right side? Shit.
I could see you talking, but I can't see anything else in there.
Oh, I see a yo from you. Is that you?
That's
or is
me.
that a different Joey?
That was me.
Yeah. Okay. It's like, god dang, we're gonna be inundated by Joey clones.
Yeah. Wait, what's the handle? Bird? Like bird like bird?
Yeah, BIRDCULB. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of it. 619, they advertised 50% off for a year, but they charged me full price and took away my referrals. So it looked like they did the same, but when I looked at my bank account, they actually hadn't charged me. So I think my guess is here that they're just fucking up the onboarding experience, but it's actually totally fine. And I was assured in writing on email that if there was any problems, they would just take care of it. So,
yeah.
Oh no, Bird Club. Sorry, Joey.
Club. Okay, Bird Club. If you, I'm more interested in Bird Club, but
Joey's looking for he's like, all right, what weight do I have to get to reasonably fight this guy?
Yeah. Bird Club.
Okay, while you look for this, let's see. I'll give you a little bit of.
What I was gonna say. Sorry, just to like actually talk on that point. If you're running into issues, hit the support team up, because the thing that I am seeing in Slack is our support team is constantly compounding those issues as they come in, and then like escalating those as like, hey, this is something that needs to be fixed. This is something fixed. So like that's
like shout out to Kristen. I think that's who I've been working with, but whoever that is, they're doing a good job.
Cool. I'll relay that back. I don't know who that is.
I don't know if that's the right. Hopefully that's the right name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still not finding Bird Club. I'm I'm like more invested in that than anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cisco Cat wants us to do a Deepen Rage live stream, call and show where we criticize and badger all these projects. I think I'm not really down with that. But thank you for
Yeah,
inviting us on.
I tend to
You know that we like to be positive, Cisco
right.
Cat.
There's a lot
Joe
of
never
cool
knows.
things happening.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of which, let's see. So the podcast went live. We had another episode go live this morning with Derek Twando and Laura DB. So my
oh, cool.
takeaway from the convo with him was that it wasn't ready for like actility to say we're going to use Laura DB, but it's certainly ready for most of us who are at kind of the hobby and maybe small business level to. It's worth it to play around with it. So
Mhm.
if you haven't seen this Laura DB thing, I wonder what happens when I click this button. Oh, cool. Well,
You've
look at all
got
my
the
notes. Hell yeah.
look at that. Yeah, look
And a
at so the
transcript.
he does a really good job in if you click on his GitHub link, sort of
Uh-huh.
explaining what it is. And I think that's where I was like, why do I need a database for lore? Like I already put stuff in a lore database, right?
Did
But
this break the
there's
link? No. I'll share the GitHub link. Sorry.
yeah, there's so much metadata that you get with a LoRaWAN payload, and there's so many things where you're like, I don't care about the spreading factor or whatever until you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a structured, reliable, consistent platform that you're ingesting all that stuff into, I think is actually a really powerful tool. So it's one of those things where you should just kind of, if you're thinking about starting to build a bunch of LoRaWAN stuff, start here and then go build all those solutions, your quail trackers or whatever. And then you're going to have all of the stuff to fall back on to be able to like research and understand and scale and all that other stuff.
And is this something, I mean, maybe it's just because I don't know what I'm doing and I just use Cloudflare and just like you use Valtown. And unlike you, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just rely heavily on the LLMs. But this seems like it's extra complicated and I can just make a couple columns in Cloudflare in a D1 for the whatever spreading factor. And that would be good enough. Or is there like, oh no, there's the reason to do this is that you keep it on site and private, etc.
I mean, you'd get pieces of this
Okay.
narrative by doing that, I think. I think there is a lot baked in here. It's already a time series database, as it's mentioning up there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's definitely some nice wins in taking that approach.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to admit I haven't tried it. I basically just did like a full skim of this README and poked through the code, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's on me to go give it a whirl. But
yeah, I'm the same. It's like I've got a million other projects, and so it keeps getting pushed on. Like, okay, when I have a new LoRaWAN project, I will go muck about with that. But I thought what I might do for this week or this month's article for MetSci and the foundation is just do a dive into DBase and like, hey, this is how easy it is to use. Here's what I used it for, etc.
mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome.
Let's see.
I've got
shoot
another topic.
Yeah.
Crypto related. So
okay.
if somebody was asking about that, but
acceptable.
The Masari and EV3 State of Deepin report just came out today.
Oh,
so
cool.
For folks that are sort of following that space, trying to understand what how Deepin works in this physical infrastructure context, how crypto ties in there, it's a really good overview of the companies that are working in that space and sort of the progress that they're making, how the market's affecting things, all that kind of stuff. So it'd be hard to miss on Twitter right now, but you can check out, I think Masari, what is their website?
Probably Masari.io or something. Okay, cool.
Yeah, something
If you
like
can't
that.
find them on Twitter, then you shouldn't be doing crypto.
Yeah, just Google Masari or ask ChatGPT. I don't know, whatever people do now.
You find it. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Let's see. I got the vacuum lab up and running. I actually did a YouTube on it. Maybe I can point to that. It was super cool just to get the very basic stuff up and see like, okay, like the thing that I bought that I really hoped worked actually worked. That was great.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that was a big one. Let's see if I can find this thing because I thought I just put it up. in videos. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can get this thing to work, because I think we did this last week and it worked pretty well. Beep,
Video
beep.
share? Yeah.
The video share, yeah. Pump it on down. This one.
To me,
Can you hear
Edwards
this or
RV3
no?
pump, and I've got it hooked up. I just want to do an initial test run. I've run it down once. The pen wall.
In any event, that's the vacuum pump on the right, and then it's got this sensor here that I don't have hooked up, but I just got the cables in today or the other day to hook up. And then this little tube back here goes to this old but awesome gauge, and this is what I was using to see like how does it hold vacuum. And you can see at one point as I turn this thing on, it gets pumped down really quickly to 0. I mean, it's less than a minute, which I thought was cool. I mean, there's not that much atmosphere to evacuate out of this hose, which is all there is.
Fair.
But it was super cool to see the thing work. And then I had a good time messing around with it. I think
So that happens pretty quick. Looks good there.
5 seconds to get down there. And then it's a super manual piece. You just turn the pump on or off. There's not like a switch on the pump to say, hey, stay on and ready but not pumping. Like you just power or no power.
That gauge is delightfully of an era. I can just picture a whole wall of those in like a...
Yeah, I've got plans to mount it on the back wall of my lab here. But I've got a lot of other plans too, so those have to happen first.
Sure.
One of the things that was crazy about this was how much extra shit you need to do one of these. So the pump itself, I think when these were new, a couple $1,000s on eBay. Now they're $300 to $600. And funnily enough, as I was starting to do this thing, let me try to stay out of the way of the camera. My neighbor poked his head in. I was like setting up the lab, and he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he doesn't come over that often. And I love him. He's awesome. He's I think a chemical engineer, went to Berkeley or something, like super smart guy. And I was like, "Oh, I've got this," and I start pointing to it, and he's like, "Oh, a vacuum pump." And I was like, "Oh, what do you know about vacuum pumps?" And he's like, "He used them. He had a business doing like membranes for water filtration." And had used them to test the membranes because with a lot of this stuff, you'll put it into a desiccation chamber and blah, blah, blah. A bunch of stuff I don't totally understand. Other than that, pumping these things down and pulling vacuum on them is useful. And so he started looking at everything, and he was like, and I think he must be in his mid 60s. He's like a kid in a candy shop. He's basically like, get out of the way. Let me put this thing together. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do it. Let me watch you do this excellent thing. But like, there's all these little clamps on here. I haven't rotated this, but there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4 clamps on here. There's another clamp on here. And they're just like, the shit adds up. They're $15 a clamp. You have to buy of course you have to buy the filter. You've got to buy this extra sensor. You got another sensor here. You got power cords that don't come with anything. And then the next piece that I'm doing, let's see if I can do this, is I bought one of these things, and this apparently is what nerds use to monitor all of the different devices that you might hook up in a lab. And so everything comes into here, and then it goes out to a PC, or you can network it. So I can put it on my little network, but it's so old. Go ahead.
Modbus TCP. It's yeah.
There's all kinds of shit that I don't understand on here, and none of I mean, obviously these aren't my pictures. But it's like, oh, cool. I'm going to figure out how to do all of this lab stuff and be as... My lab will probably not look like that, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, you could aspire to that. Get some what do they call that? The DIN rails. Yeah.
I could. I mean, I've always wanted to do something with DIN rails. I just don't know anything about them. I just see them like oh, that seems like the next level in professionalism, which sometimes I'm not totally keeping up with. But I was like, oh, I'll network this thing. But it's so old, it still uses this USB, the old home
printer
style
one.
connector.
Yeah, sure.
Huh. Which I think is funny. It's this odd thing in ChatGPT land where you can, you're using this cutting edge technology of LLMs to walk you through some super deep part of human knowledge that you couldn't understand yourself. But because GPT stopped whatever it was in 2024, 25, 20, like not not 26, but 2024 is what I'm finding for most of them. And the data it was trained on was produced between 1970 and 2024.
Mm.
What I've found is you typically are working with information that was relevant in like 2018 or so, at least for these like science things. So I ended up with a bunch of equipment because this is how I learned how to do all this stuff with GPT. With all this lab stuff that was like, oh, cutting edge in 2018. And that I found like, okay, now that when I'm talking to GPT, I have to then go to Grok and say like, hey, is this the latest cutting edge? And Grok will say, no, you're an idiot. That's a good start, but this is what you should use now.
Yeah, I haven't quite noticed the time cutoff, but I'm also touching stuff that is maybe less sensitive to that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. 619 wanted me to click on a video for what happens if you shoot a Navy SEALs dog, because that looks interesting. But you can certainly spend your time on YouTube however you want. Let's see. D Vaselina says your alter ego is called Let's Go Birding.
Let's go bird. Okay. This keeps changing. I'm becoming more skeptical. Let's go.
And then these guys are talking about deep in stuff. So that was the Labjack. I also got a little mini PC, which is, maybe it's not behind me anymore. But I'm going to set up a little mini PC in the lab because the whole point is to have everything there, put it up on a screen, run the various pumps and chambers, et cetera, and be able to see what's going on and then record it. And that's been super cool to mess around with and just see what's out there. What else? So that's the vacuum lab, I think, and I'll set all that stuff up today.
We got to put some more IoT sensors on this vacuum lab, by the way.
That was my next thing, is that I was thinking I should have an ambient sensor set up. And so I found, let me see, I can share this one. I found this cool little thing where you can 3D print like your own more or less indoor weather station that I can use for the lab. And so my idea was, because I'm working with vacuum and I think that changes at different temperatures, and everything we do in San Diego, everything I do in San Diego is basically at the outdoor temperature. And so there's pretty big fluctuations. At night, it gets down to the 40s. During the day, it's up in the 70s and 80s. That will probably have an effect on some of the experiments that I do. And rather than try to air condition my garage, which will never happen, I'll just include all of the data for here's the environmentals when I did it. And you can figure out how, or someone can help me figure out how to control for that. But rather than buying something off the shelf that would be super easy, like the AM319 behind me, that's a MileSight LoRaWAN device, I was like, well, of course I got to build my own because I have to have the best sensor or whatever. And so these are the sensors that I've been putting together. So there's this SHT85, a Bosch BME390, this AlphaSense for oxygen, because one of the things I'll be doing is working with liquid nitrogen, and that can displace the oxygen, which can kill you. Humans tend to like oxygen. So I want to make sure there's an oxygen sensor in there to see if the O2 levels are going down. And then the other thing that I won't be doing a bunch of in the lab, because it appears to be pretty dangerous, is working with hydrogen and hydrogen gas. So hydrogen gas is a much lower, ignition point than almost anything else. And so you want to be really careful working with it to work in a place where it disperses quickly. And my garage is it's certainly not air sealed, and I can open the doors at both ends and have the air flowing through. But I thought I'd better have a hydrogen sensor in there just in case I do something stupid. And that would be nice to not blow up my garage and my house.
Is that a Sensirion device? I see the Sen 047 something.
Let's see. The Sen. So it comes from DF Robot, and it's this one. It's these, I think they have a Gravity series because I've bought Gravity stuff from them before.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this.
But I don't know what's in here. And so
they've got all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All kinds of rad stuff. And I look at this and I'm like, all right, how do I hook that up? And how do I put this into my little idea of what I should be doing for...
Ooh, I would actually love...
Good.
So my house has this old heater, and I've put carbon monoxide sensors downstairs, of course, just to try to make sure I don't gas myself. But what would actually be really interesting is to actually measure carbon monoxide levels and then have some dashboard. So I saw that on that page. That would be actually a pretty easy thing to build.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of stuff. I'm trying to find where is the. I'm trying to think of where I put the thing for the 3D print file for this. It was a Stevenson.
I see Stevenson's screen on row 12 there.
There we go. Oh, you see. Oh, you see it where it's printed. Let me click on that because that will make it easier to find. And then we'll share this tab. So this is it. Yeah, I was going to print this thing out, and my understanding is that I can print out one of these guys here. I think you can see the mouse, but whatever. One of them
Yeah, I can
to
see it.
attach it to the wall, and then a bunch of these different pieces. And then I think I can put each sensor kind of inside a separate screen. And I think that the heat coming off the sensors, which cannot be that much, won't change the reading of the temperature sensor, but I could put it on the bottom. But I've got to figure out like how to do all this stuff. How does this work inside? And I am just not that great at thinking in 3D. So it's a fair amount of reliance on someone else having done a great job here and me just plugging this shit in.
What I'll say that I love to do, if I'm struggling with like a 3D model of something, I'll print something approximately right, and then get in there with an exact. You can take a torch to an X-Acto knife and just shape whatever you want out of your right. I've also been curious to pick up those 3D print pens because you can kind of just like mesh in whatever you're trying to do and then go like work it in the model.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. Not to make you think about buying another tool, but those 3D print pens could be an interesting tool. I think they're much more interesting than a tool than a toy.
Huh. Yeah. No, I'll go mess around with that.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, don't be afraid to cut up a 3D print, right? Because that's part of the prototype.
You just print another one.
Yeah.
Let's see what else was cool on here. I think this is all just like DigiKey stuff. And then I'm just finding as I get into the gas stuff is, let's see, share this tab instead. There's all these companies that make these gas sensors, and none of them are like super cheap. They're not $2 sensors, but if you're looking for carbon monoxide and you're Joey, maybe you go buy this thing.
Oh, $100.
You don't die.
I don't know if I'm that curious yet.
$395 for the detector where you don't have to
well,
do
that's a
anything,
whole machine.
though.
I'll do the whole, whatever. I just need the sensor bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I wonder.
Good.
I wonder if an off-the-shelf carbon monoxide sensor has one of those in it, and you just use it.
I can't imagine it does. Like that. Remember that one that you did for the IKEA?
Yeah.
I can't imagine it has $100 sensor in it. I mean, let's say this thing, they make it and it costs them whatever, $30 to make for the materials, maybe.
Right.
That's still more than that IKEA, that they could turn a profit on the IKEA sensor, I would think.
Well, but they're doing volume. These are selling individual. I don't know. Sometimes the stuff gets like, you go buy this, right?
Yeah.
You could try buy one of those components. It'll cost more than the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they do volume.
Let's see. I had, speaking of that, I'm going to do this thing. So because I am doing this vacuum lab and this thing is going down to -70, I had to buy these rubber seals that can handle the super cold temperatures. Let me see if I can find this thing. Yeah, here it is. So you basically have to, and someone will watch this who knows about vacuum and be like, oh, you're an idiot. This is not how you have to do it, but that's just how you did it because you don't know any better. But I went and found this company, Marco Rubber. They do custom seals. And so I said, this is what I want. Here, I've got KF25, blah, blah. This is what I need. It needs to go down to -70, which is -100 Fahrenheit, -70 Celsius. And they're like, cool, we can make them for you, but we're going to make 200 and they're going to be $1 each. And we're going to charge you some stupid tariff thing as well. I was like, I don't want to spend $200 on seals, but I also don't want to have my liquid nitrogen go through my system and then break everything and I have nothing usable.
Right.
So I thought what I'll do is I'll buy the 200 and then I'll make little baggies of 4 of them at a time and put them on eBay. And I'll sell
like that.
These little F1001, whatever, blah, 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 78 durometer fluorosilicon things. And so I had ChatGPT write me up an eBay description for them. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, my brain was going to like Send has started doing more seal materials that probably not vacuum grade whatsoever, but to the extent that things can get custom, it's a interesting direction. Or you just buy a laser cutter and start you're running these things in your garage too.
Yeah, I mean, my garage is getting pretty darn full. I've learned to put everything on casters so I can just roll it out onto the driveway and then conduct whatever operation I'm going to conduct in the garage and then put everything back in. And these two kids were like running or roller skating by the other day, and they stopped, and I heard them. I was in the garage, and I heard them go, "Whoa, what is that?" And I was like, "Oh, what do I have outside?" And it was the table with all the vacuum stuff on it. So I went out and talked to them for a little while about it.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Blow their minds.
Pretty fun. Let's see what else. I've got RotorIQ. So after we get off this call, I'll be going and talking to the guy that I hired to do the hardware for this.
Sweet.
And we'll be going through. He's going to walk me through ordering it on JLC PCB. And so that should be ordered by about noon Pacific this time, and then who knows how long it takes them to make it.
Are you doing PCBA like full assembly, or just getting PCBs and then toss them in the toaster?
I think I'm going to do the full assembly because
they've got the pieces. You don't have to go buy all that stuff. They've got the pieces,
and it's a two-sided thing. Let's see if I can go.
Yeah.
And so when I was like, "Oh, I'll totally go do this thing myself, and I'll use my reflow oven," which is I really wanted to do. It just became, as this guy was developing it, it became obvious that like, oh, this is not going to work the way that I want it to work.
I'm envious of your reflow oven. Think of it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it comes into my mind surprisingly number of times. I need one.
So this is I guess this is the board that we're going to be making today. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm totally trusting this guy's competence to do all this.
Yeah, I mean, order a couple, right? And then you can rework if you need to do a couple off, on the fly.
Yeah. I think I'll order a couple. I'll send you one if you're interested. There's my buddy Thomas Tinkart probably in like Norway. I'm going to send one, and then I'll see if I can send one out to this dude in Egypt. So it's like, hey, here's the thing that you built. Let's make sure that this thing works. And
for sure,
you know more than I do about it. So
yeah.
So that's cool. I'm psyched on that. Let's see. For the device that's going to go under the balloon, I'm also having that developed. And I talked to this company, Nichicon, about their LTO batteries, and we've been going back and forth. And the guy that the engineer I'd hired to develop it had written me. He's like, "Hey, here's what I found for batteries," and I just sent that on to Nichicon. I'm like, "Hey, can you guys match this or help us understand what we might use?" And they've been super helpful in coming back and saying, "Here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do." And then I sent the whole thing to my buddy Gradaj in Discord. And he's like, "Oh, they found the same thing I found, and here's like a bunch of other stuff." So I took what he said, and I asked the Nichicon folks about it, and just kind of trying to make a conversation about how this thing works so that we end up with the best possible outcome.
That's great. Hopefully it becomes like a cool thing for Nichicon to show off as you're just dealing with extreme environments in atmosphere like that. So it's a pretty strong, I don't know, like demonstration of a battery.
I'm ultra pumped about it, and I think that I've been going through with GPT like how to make the most of the vacuum lab thing, and building out. I was
going to point out the pun in ultra pumped, but
pumped it. Maybe I've been waiting my whole life for this, Joey. It's just to get pumped.
Yeah. Pumped straight to zero.
What I've been doing. Let's see. We talked, I think, after the show last time about my AI recognition thing for paleo treats.
Yeah.
So I went and I bought the camera for that. The camera comes in, and the idea there is, and I'd actually be curious for the folks who are watching this, whether you watch this later or now, is the idea is that when you come into the store, we're opening up a coffee shop, so we're going to add in a coffee cart to paleo treats. And we're going to have, there's no guarantee that you have lifetime employees anymore. So we've had really good employees in the past. We have really good employees now who recognize customers, and we have customers who know the employees, and there's like a nice little piece. But if they leave, you basically lose all of the knowledge that they have about Bill the Judge that comes in every, Tuesday, and Sam the whatever shepherd or whatever it is. And so what I thought would be super cool is to put this camera up there, do recognition on the folks that come in the door, and then build a little card on each person based on the information they give us as they come in. So, oh, they like a decaf cappuccino. They always get a bandito. They always get 2 of these, or they're keto, or right now they're trying vegan, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And then have that card pop up for the barista or the cashier to check out, and say, "Hey, Frank, good to see you again. Do you want your usual?" And that makes it a much better environment and experience for
Swear,
people.
this is the thing that's going to get acquired by Square or Toast or whatever.
We'll see. So
it's a-
I've got big questions on it because I'm planning on using Frigate. I bought a G6 Pro turret from Unify just because Unify is so goddamn easy, and you
Yeah.
can do what I think is called an RTSP stream. So
Yep.
the camera can go into Unify. I'm not going to record anything in the Unify controller, at least not yet. I haven't bought whatever the memory thing is that you shove in there. And then that RTSP stream will go to another little mini PC or something. And this is what I've got to build that does the recognition. And Frigate recommends like an EN1C. It recommends something, but I was talking with GPT and I was saying, hey, I want to do this really fast. Like this has to happen almost in real time. What should I use?
Yeah.
And it said, oh, you could use like an older GPU, like a 3070, to do
bet
it
so.
super fast. But I don't know anything about it, so I'm trying to figure it out.
Raspberry Pi just shipped their little AI accelerator hat.
Oh, maybe
This
that's the way to do
Might
it.
like so my we talked about my website with the live stream camera thing. Like that's all running on a Raspberry Pi. And so if you need the recognition and the identification piece, it might be able to handle it. You'd be a little resource constrained, but it could get the job done.
So I don't want to be resource constrained.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And I think about like, okay, let's see right now I have it and 619 walks in the door. I want it to be able to see like, oh, there's his 619. Here's what he likes. And thank you, by the way, 619 for coming by and offloading 8 gigs through my Helium hotspot the other day. I appreciate that. He always texts me when he's by. He's like, dude, I'm offloading 12 gigs. Like, fuck yeah, buddy. Thank you.
I think he texted me too.
Rad.
Yeah.
Because he had a problem with the Wi-Fi. I think he forgot to turn it on and there was some user.
The cert wasn't loaded. Yeah, we got it sorted.
So this is Frigate. This is what they're saying. And they're saying to get a B-Link EQ 13, which can run this object detection. But I guess, and this is where my
Wait, click on that link. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, B-Link is like a mini PC.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah,
this
a little nut. Got it. Yep.
So you've got, and what I think of that as that's the computer. And then there's the detector. And the detector is the thing I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around because I want something that's awesome and I don't want to fuck around with it forever.
Yeah.
And I'm not an electrical engineer. So it's like, there's some stuff where it's like, oh, buy this resistor and then, weld it to the capacitor 7 and do this. And
I mean,
I'm not down.
The NVIDIA Jetsons are like a pretty well-known platform. If I had to just pick something in that list, I feel like I'd go there. I've seen the Coral stuff floating around, but I don't know of anyone that's actually built anything using that. And they say don't recommend it. Great.
Yeah, no longer recommended for new installations.
I bet you the NVIDIA Jetson, if you scroll to it, it would say like, yeah, go here, right? Supports all Jetson boards. Amazing.
Yeah, 20 to 40 milliseconds for most models. That seems good.
Seed Studio sells a bunch of these too.
Okay.
I think they're one of the like official vendors.
Maybe this is what I do. Like what I wanted was something that doesn't handle what I have now, which is, I think on a busy day at Paleo Treats, 30 people will walk in the door, but we don't do coffee right now. So like none of this stuff matters. You could do it on a Pi Zero, maybe not that, but what I'm expecting is that once we get coffee in there, based on what I've seen from coffee shops, you got people coming in basically every minute, every couple minutes, and this thing needs to hit it, be able to display all of them. And then I also want to build in some other stuff around customer kind of avatars.
The cool things though is, you're talking about like instant, but you actually have 20 seconds from the time you see somebody until they're talking to somebody at the register. So you have that, 20 is maybe a little generous, short space, 5 seconds, but that's usually enough for like a round trip. You go send it off to an LLM and say like, hey, does this look like this person? Like,
have we seen this person before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
so what I was going to say, On my other little podcast that I do with Helium,
Mm-hmm.
I interviewed the guy from Unbound Bookstore here in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
They are deploying hotspots. They sort of think about technology and sort of how these things apply. They are just opening a coffee shop as well. So should you want to start sort of expanding that beta, I think that'd be a cool way to do a
Yeah.
little bit more growth.
Yeah. And I think it's got to be something where like here's the hardware to buy, and here's how much it costs, here's how easy it is, here's the whole instruction on how to do it, which I think Frigate will do most of that stuff. The part that it doesn't have yet is this idea I've got for like a customer card.
Mm-hmm.
And then in
And
California, there's a huge restriction on recording people. So for me, it
sure.
seems super obvious that if we had recordings of what's going on in the store, when Bob walks in the store, all the camera knows is that Bob has walked in before because it sees Bob and it recognizes him, but it doesn't know he's Bob. It just knows he's person 476194B alpha.
Sure.
But if you walked in the door and and we're recording and it knows my voice and I say, hey, Bob, good to see you. All of a sudden it's like, oh, that's Bob. That face is Bob. And now Bob likes the whatever.
So, but like you own your space. It's not considered like you can't create a profile on the people coming in, or what
So
is
you
the
can
laws around that?
video you can do, and God
Mhm.
knows I love California, but I also recognize that it has some restrictions on what it allows you to do. Video
Yeah.
is no problem as long as you post a thing like, hey, you're under surveillance, which
Mhm.
I'll post. But recording audio is a huge deal, and you have to get consent for it. So I've got to figure out like, how do I do it, and is there a way to do it? Because that makes the customer experience so much better. If Bob can come in every month and we know that he likes a decaf cap with a sprinkle of cinnamon, and that his daughter is named Annie and her birthday is on, August 17th, and he comes in a month before her birthday every time and always orders a cake. Like, man, that's such a cool, I can just imagine, you walk into a store and they're like, hey, Bob, what's going on? How's Annie? Is she, she graduated from Stanford yet? Looks like her birthday's coming up. We got this new thing. Check this out.
Yeah.
He's either got this reaction of like, you fucking creeps, or
Right.
like, wow, these people give a shit about me. And we do. Like, I'm giving a shit enough to build this whole system.
Yeah. You want them to feel welcome and remember, and yeah. I have to imagine the audio thing is okay. Maybe it's just a matter of posting, but like the Waymos record audio, but they also tell you that they're recording audio.
Yeah. Yeah. So there'd have to be a thing. And I think there's a bunch of stuff I've got to think through and help people understand. But
yeah,
I was talking to the folks down the street at Bika when they were helping us with starting our coffee shop. And I was like, oh, it's like, because there's 13 coffee shops within like a mile on Adams Ave. So opening up another one that does the same as everyone else is like, it's not that great. And their thing I thought was really cool is like, what do you think differentiates you? They've got a strong community. And they had said like, oh, we're chefs. Like, that's what we do. We do food really well. And we also do coffee, and the coffee's good, but the food here is super good. It's way better than your average, like, you go to a coffee shop, you get a shitty sandwich that they imported via truck that was made 4 days ago and frozen. Bika's food is excellent. And so I was thinking, for us, what's our thing? And number one is like, it's good coffee fast. So I want to be able to make it as fast as possible. And then two, being super tech forward and saying like, hey, the hair salon above us has said, if you guys build an app for us to order coffee, we will order coffee all day for all of our customers. And they're a busy hair salon. It's like, oh, I'll totally build that 100%.
Yeah,
and then
cool.
thinking like, how do we expand that out to like a 3-block radius? We make it for every business. We'll deliver coffee to you, buy it on this app. And that means we just have a runner to, go down in 3 minutes later, you get your coffee. That's pretty cool.
You build your little LoRaWAN thing with a drip coffee cappuccino.
Yeah. I think there's so
Yeah.
many cool things you can do. And that means all of a sudden we're a very different coffee shop than everyone else. And so we're no longer kind of competing with them. We're just adding something cool to the system.
Yeah. Cool.
Let's see. Have you seen this thing?
How could you miss it? I have not used Clawdbot yet, or I believe it's got a. I'm surprised they're still calling it Clawdbot. I thought they shifted off that, but
So
maybe this is a fake Clawdbot. But
this isn't CLAUDE. This is like its own thing. I saw it.
Yeah, there was a thing, but with Anthropic told him to change it. He changed it. But... Uh-oh, we freeze? I don't know if I'm live or if Nick's live. Oh, I'm the one that's live. Nick says a fuse blew. This might be the end of the show. All right, I guess that's it. Cheers, everybody.